he physically, you know what I'm saying, put his hands on me, you know what I'm saying, and if he got the police involved. You don't remember that?
5 years ago, when Ronnell met Avis, both of them were in other relationships. But when they became available, they jumped at the chance to date each other. However, now, after 4 years of marriage and 2 children together, their volatile union has run out of gas, skidding into Judge Lynn's courtroom.
I'm going through all her inboxes. All of a sudden, she talking to this guy about how handsome he is.
Ronnell was, you know what I'm saying, he was calling me, always calling me Dave. But yes, I was able to leave the house right there because he was all my face. All I want to know is, did he physically prohibit you from leaving the house that day?
The roof has caved in on Ronnell and Avis's marriage, and they're both racing to cut their ties to each other once and for all. Today, on Divorce Court.
Come to order. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Lynn Toller presiding.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here today with Avis Burns and Ronnell Burns. Mr. and Mrs. Burns, you two have been married 4 years, although you have been separated for some time now. You do have 2 children together, or at the very least, you believe you have 2 children together. Mr. Burns, you are questioning the paternity of your children, and as a function thereof, you had asked us to give a DNA test to your children, and we have done that, and we do have the results here for you today. Mrs. Burns, you're asking for a significant amount of transitional support, which we will discuss. But before we do that, Mr. Burns, I'm going to talk to you first. Why don't you tell me a little bit about your marriage and why we're here in divorce court today?
Well, I start off, Yana, we're here because of distrust with my wife. That's the ultimate reason why we're going through this divorce. Start back when we first met. I met my wife about 5 years ago on a business venture that, you know, she decided not to really take a part of at that time. I was dating a young lady. So even though she decided the business venture wouldn't work, she continued to send me text messages. It was more spiritual than anything about the Lord and Jesus, and it was all great.
Now, wait a minute. We just got from business venture to Jesus, and I'm not quite sure how we got there. Let's slow it down a little bit. Let's slow it down. You two were in a business venture together.
Yes. I was in a business. I was in sales. I tried to recruit her into the sales venture. Somewhere or the other, she decided it wasn't for her.
Okay.
But she continued to communicate with me innocently through a text because I was in a relationship, so was she. One day, all of a sudden, a text come through, and it's like, you can't get what God got for you because you're holding on to something old. So I was like, okay, this seemed like it could be a group text, but it seemed like she was kind of making that pass towards me. So one day, it came to the point about talking about going on a date or a lunch or something like this, but I was still in a relationship, just got a little rocky. So after the conversation, I agreed. I said, okay, we can go to lunch or something like that. But then when it's time for the lunch, I never called her. So she said, what's up? If we ain't going, just tell me, because I'm sitting around, I could be doing something else. And I said, actually, yeah, we're not going to go because I'm still in this relationship. I don't feel good about this. If this relationship do end, I'll get with you then. So relationship terminated. I inboxed on Facebook. I said, hey, I'm free now if you still want to do that date. We went on that date that weekend, and we've been together, you know, since then.
Good story. Ms. Burns, is that what happened?
Yes, that happened, and I'm not going to refuse.
Were you continuing to text this guy even though you knew he was with another chick?
Yes, I sent out texts. He was in my phone, so I just used to send out like spiritual texts. You know what I'm saying? I had just gave my life to God. You know what I'm saying? So I was just going through a transition in my life at the same time.
At one point, did those texts turn romantic or at all flirtatious or inviting?
Never. I sent out that text to everybody in my phone. That was not a specific text for him.
How did let's go to dinner, are we ever going to go to dinner? How did that happen?
Oh, I did it because we had talked back and forth at the same time, and he was like, oh, yeah, it'll be nice for us to go on a date and all that. I was like, okay, that's fine.
But you knew that he was
texting him. I didn't know what was going on. I'm going to be honest with you.
You didn't know?
Hang on.
No, I did not, because you was back and forth, acting like you was either in the relationship or out of the relationship. You did. I mean, basically, that's with our marriage at the same time right now. But we're talking on these things right here.
I got it. Well, tell me about the vacation at the lake. Who wants to tell me about that?
I'm going to tell you, because she going to tell it wrong. We was on a vacation at the lake. This is about 3, maybe 6 months into our marriage, and we're just having a good time. The family there, my brothers, everybody. And all of a sudden, I started having these intuitions, and it was like that she was dealing with some other guy. So I asked her, I'm like, we laying down, it's like, are you seeing another guy, or are you talking to another guy? She was like, no, what you talking about? You know, acting all oblivious. So we get home, I tell her to log into a social network. She logged into a social network. When she logged in social network, I'm like, let me pull up. I'm going through all her inboxes. all of a sudden she talking to this guy about how handsome he is and why he never tried to get with her when they were younger. She wished that they had gotten together. Then she say, yeah, and I want to come over to your house. Can I come to your house? Now, mind you, before we went to the lake, before I knew this and had these intuitions, she was telling me when we got back home, I have a 7-year-old daughter that's not with her, that live with her, but she was telling me to find a babysitter for my 7-year-old daughter. I'm like, what we need a babysitter? You're a stay-at-home mom. In my head, but I'm like, okay, maybe she want to get out with the girls or whatever. When I read this Facebook, she trying to get me to get a babysitter so she can go over some guy's house. And when I read all this, I'm like, what's going on? She's like, oh, I'm just going over the guy's house. We weren't gonna do nothing. I'm like, you going to his house to play bingo? You gonna play spades? Because you don't need to go to his house to do that.
When Divorce Court continues, the stage is set for Ronnell to collide with Avis's mother.
Mama stand blocked my car in the driveway with her body, and like you ain't going nowhere with her car. I'm like, listen, the car finna pull off. The only question is, are you gonna be under it or over it?
And later,
Mr. Burns, why don't you believe these children are yours? If your divorce is final, but your ex is still giving you grief, call toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or visit our website at divorcecourt.com or become a fan at facebook.com/divorcecourt.
Divorce Court returns with the case of Ronnell Burns, who claims his wife Avis has a tendency to be unfaithful. But Avis claims not only has she been faithful, but she also knows for sure Ronnell is guilty of his own indiscretions.
So woman has intuition also at the same time. We start feeling it's something not right.
Were you cheating on him, Mr. Burns? Mrs. Burns, what is your response to
I'm
that?
not going to respond to that mess at the same time.
Sure.
He knows that he's a cheater, okay?
No,
Wait,
this
wait, no,
about you right now.
No.
First of all, you don't interrupt me. Stop. And number two, when I ask you a question, you need to answer it. So
Okay.
I want to know, did that occur?
I mean, I talked to somebody on Facebook. Yes, I did.
And did you ask him to babysit so you could meet with this other
I
guy?
didn't ask him to babysit, no, I did not.
Well, let's talk about, did you have plans to meet with this other guy?
Did I have plans? Yeah, to go see him by his house. No.
Ms. Burns, why don't you tell me what you were going to tell me about his cheating? Have you caught him cheating?
Yeah, he came home and told me he's cheated at the same time, and then a woman has intuition also at the same time. We start feeling it's something not right with the sex, coming with the sex at the same time, and then him coming home. He says, yes, he's an insurance broker, but you shouldn't be coming home no 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Not at all.
Were you cheating on her, Mr. Burns?
Absolutely. And I told her, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I was cheating on her. I told her I was cheating on her. She never caught me cheating or nothing like this. I came and I told her because I would say, listen, I want to work on this relationship and make our marriage work. You broke my trust early on in the relationship. When we had the social network deal, I said, okay, pack your bags, get out, go home with your mama. And so I called her mom, like, come get your daughter. She want to be something other than married. And so mom said, no, she young. You knew that when you got with her. You got to work through it. So I'm like, I guess she's stuck here.
You say that her mother is far too involved in your relationship. Why don't you explain that to me?
Well, first off, she invites her mom to be involved in our relationship. Nobody has a place in your home unless you invite them in. The mom come over to the house, she made this big escape plan. She gonna move out on me, take the car, take everything in the house while I'm going to work. I get up in the morning, I'm ready to go to work. I go down to the basement so I get my suit, get dressed. I looked on the other side of the closet, all her clothes gone. I go into my daughter's room, open up my daughter's drawers, all her clothes gone. I said, oh, you gonna sneak out of the mud? I said, we don't gotta do this sneaky. Do you wanna go? Let's pack this stuff up, let's do this the right way, right? She crying, oh, we gonna stay together, we gonna figure it out. But meanwhile, mom and them don't know that me and her, I had figured out the deal and they little plan. They outside the house with trucks and stuff, get ready to take all the stuff. And so we pull up and she said, well, we worked it out, we decided we're gonna be back together. Mom said, you ain't gonna be with him, you finna go with us. I said, great, she gonna leave, I'm gonna get y'all time to pack, I'm gonna get in my car and leave. Mama stands, blocked my car in the driveway with her body, and like, you ain't going nowhere with her car. Like, she gonna take my Mercedes. I'm like, listen, the car finna pull off. The only question is, are you gonna be under it or over it?
Well,
yeah,
okay.
for sure. Yeah, I'm gonna leave, you know what I'm saying? So I pull back, mama jumps out the way, and they in the house and they gonna pull everything down. They trying to take curtains. I mean, who takes curtains when they move?
Okay, I got you, Mr. Burns. Here's what I'm going to switch topics here because this is the one that concerned me the most. you seem to believe that he has taken advantage of you financially.
Yeah.
And that he's putting things in your name, ruined your credit, and I would like you to talk to me about that. While you're doing that, I'd like to have Ms. Latasha Munoz come out. She is a witness for you. So, Joe, if you could get her, and could you tell me?
Wait, I object.
No, you can't object. I'm gonna give you an opportunity to respond. I'm gonna give you an opportunity to respond. But why don't you tell me what you believe is the financial shenanigans that he's engaged in with respect to you?
I mean, it just was
And
like,
good day, Ms. Munoz.
How you doing?
with the financial, he put cars in my name. We put the business in my name. I mean, we stayed the apartment we stayed in. Two of the apartments that we were staying in, we had our name on the lease. He left that apartment, then we went to another apartment.
So you didn't finish out the lease. You still owed on the lease.
That was almost $2,000 or $3,000 in debt right there, and we left that apartment. It took him forever just to pay that off, so it started accumulating money on that.
When divorce court continues, what about the children?
My only contingency was she stopped playing games with me with my children. I've seen my children 3 times since January. 3 times.
Are you keeping the kids from him? Do you believe that Danny explodes because Sabrina never lets him get a word in? Call 1-800-282-1991 to vote now and see if America agrees with your opinion. You'll also receive some valuable offers.
If you would like your case heard on Divorce Court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at divorcecourt.com and follow us on Twitter at Divorce Court. Divorce Court returns with the case of Ronnell Burns, who says he's tried multiple times to work out his marriage to Avis. But does Ronnell go too far while trying to impose order on their relationship?
You know, he physically, you know what I'm saying, put his hands on me, you know what I'm saying, and then we got the police involved. You don't remember that?
Okay, Mr. Burns, do you understand the allegations she's making with respect to
Absolutely.
her credit? Why don't you respond to that?
First off, I didn't affect her credit in no way, shape, or form. Putting a business in her name had nothing to do with credit. Like, first off, it ain't even a company. It's an advertising name. I'm an insurance agent, so I sell insurance. They pay me a direct commission.
Right.
It was an advertising name that we put in her name.
Right.
And so on top of that, when she talking about this money for the apartments, when I left her and we agreed that she gonna move somewhere, she needed it was like $300, $400 that the people say we owe for whatever. They have to paint the apartment over and all the stuff like that. I brought that to the house and gave it to her. Also, I agreed to pay her the other money for her to move into another place and all that. My only contingency was she stopped playing games with my children. I seen my children 3 times since January. 3 times. And I said, if I can see my kids, I'll give you whatever you need to take care of them.
Are you keeping the kids from him?
I'm not keeping the kids from him. I had my son was 2 weeks old, but I said he wanted me to take a 2-week-old that I have that I'm still bonding with.
Well,
so
you know you can't take a 2-week-old.
We got past that.
No.
We don't talk about the 2 months. I said we can wait for 2-3 months. I ain't seeing my 3-year-old daughter in almost 6 months. We ain't even talking about 3 years. I don't even know if he minds or not.
No, ma'am, because
I had my daughter 3 times since I left.
He came over to the house and got her and stuff like that.
I think I hear what you're saying. Ms. Munoz, I called you out here. I need to talk to you. What do you see with respect to this relationship? And give me some specific examples that would help me determine who to believe.
Well, I can say this, like, it was a time in the middle of the night, she called me, and you can sense danger in someone's voice that you know, that you're close with. And she was like, Tasha, please come get me. Come and get me right now. I can't do this. I can't have this. And he's screaming B in the background. And I'm like, oh my God. So I literally just jumped in the car, shoot straight over there. And it was in the middle of the night. My car pulled up in the driveway, didn't turn it off at all. I was at the house, didn't come outside, but I seen his frame shadow in the window with the lights on in the house, so I know someone's there. But I'm just sitting there talking to our other friend on the phone, like, I don't know what's going on, but I know that this is an emergency. Like, she is scared.
You see why I object?
So what happened? What happened when you
I
were
sat
there?
there for an hour. I was there. And for someone to not open the door, but you in the house, and you know that I'm there trying to pick her up, and you don't open the door.
Ms. Burns, were you unable to leave the house? What was going on?
Ronnell was, he was always called me days, but yes, I wasn't able to leave the house right there because he was all my face and blah, blah, blah. I was trying to call her and he like, oh, get off the phone with that B and blah, blah, blah and all that stuff and cussing me out.
Was I make you stay in the house? Was I holding you make you stay in the house?
Hang on. Did
Okay.
you, hang on. All I want to know is, did he physically prohibit you from leaving the house that day?
Yes.
Explain what he did that kept you from leaving the house.
Well, I don't want to say that because, you know, he physically, you know what I'm saying, put his hands on me. You know what I'm saying? And then we got the police involved. You don't remember that?
So when she came here to make you get out the house?
Okay.
No,
Okay.
that's a lie. She lying, Your Honor.
Okay,
When she
what
can't
was
let her come get out the house, I said go ahead and go if you want to go.
When divorce court continues, the question of paternity looms large in Judge Lynn's courtroom.
The 3-year-old, I would say wholeheartedly, I believe that's mine. The second one, I have no idea.
Do you believe that Danny explodes because Sabrina never lets him get a word in? Call 1-800-282-1991 to vote now and see if America agrees with your opinion. You'll also receive some valuable offers.
Divorce court returns with the case of Ronnell and Avis Burns, who after 4 years are fed up with their rocky marriage and have come to divorce court to put an end to it today.
She was trying to throw my clothes like she gonna put me out. I paid the bill, she gonna put me out. So all I did was she kept throwing my stuff out. I grabbed her by the side of the arm and said, I'm not playing with you. Stop throwing my clothes. That's the only time I touched you. Did I punch you? Did I slap you?
Don't ask her any questions. Ms. Burns, you want $6,000 in transitional support. Explain that to me.
I want $6,000. I need to get back on my feet, and want $6,000. You know what I'm saying, for at least 6 months. I'm still trying to get on my feet. You basically don't give me no type of income. We have kids together. Oh, if I don't meet what you want me to do, then you're not going to do anything for our kids or for me at the same time. You brought all this up on us. You the one that left the house and didn't care at the same time and all that stuff. You did all that literally while I'm still pregnant with our son. I was still 2 or 3 months pregnant with our son, and you left and I go like, oh, well, you know what I'm saying, I'm good. So I'm going to go over here, you know what I'm saying, and be at her, stay with her at the same time. But I want some money.
That's a lie.
Mr. Burns, why don't you respond?
You've been talking
That's
to
a
her
lie.
for a minute.
First off,
You've been talking to her for a minute.
I wasn't the one that left. She left. She left to go again with her mama. And when she left with her mama, I called her and said, listen, you pregnant and you got our 2-year-old daughter. And she's saying I wasn't with my mama, so she all around the place. I guess she with whoever this is. But whatever the deal was, I said, okay, you don't have to leave. You come back to the house. I'll leave. Because I don't have to tag along a young baby and pregnant. I can't move myself out.
He did do that.
Yeah.
He did do that. Now, did you ever have any income, a job or anything while you two were together?
I was working with him, and then I stayed at home. He sort of wanted me to stay at home because he sort of messed with someone.
Was she staying at home with the kids?
Yes.
She was just doing that, standing at home with the kids. She ain't taking care of nothing.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
again, don't talk about financial because it shows the debit card and all her transactions. She keep lying like I ain't giving her money. That's a lie.
Mr. Burns, why don't you believe these children are yours?
Well, number one, she don't know even know this. I'm kind of humiliated to even say it today. But she continued to see her ex-boyfriend after me and her was together. She don't even know I know. One day she's supposed to pick me up from work, right? Now she's driving my car, flossing around her ex-boyfriend. She got my 2-year-old daughter with her at his sister's house. She don't know I know. She supposed to pick me up. She texts me like, I'm going to be an hour late. I'm like, an hour late picking me up in my car? Right, okay, let me see what's going on. So I had a tracker on her phone, so I know where she at all times. I put the tracker in there, my buddy took me over there. She's at her ex-boyfriend's sister's house, coming out with my daughter. Talking about now, she on her way home.
All right. First of all, you don't really believe they're not yours, right?
First off, the 3-year-old, I would say wholeheartedly, I believe that's mine. The second one, I have no idea. Because first off, if the kids are mine, how you going to prohibit me from seeing them? I ain't seen my kids in 6 months.
First of all, let's get this done. They're yours. Both of them are yours. That's just what that is. And having said that, I will say this. She was a stay-at-home mom. You had a job. She is entitled to transitional support. What is your current income?
0. So how am I give her what I don't have? I was paying her when I had money. You see the bank, she was getting money when I had money. My income is 0 now.
You can get some kind of job and do something.
I get $236 for child support.
$236 a month?
Yeah.
For Tanner.
Whatever, to get money for the kids.
I know that she's been staying with me for the last 2 months, and I consume all the financial responsibilities.
Yeah.
And the woman that you don't know, and the woman that he doesn't know.
Stop it. Get on a bus. Get to McDonald's somewhere.
I'm good.
Get a job because you will be paying her, in addition to that, $250 per month for the next 6 months because she deserves a hand up. $250 for the next 6 months. It is so ordered.
All right. Parties may leave the courtroom.
Since the time we appeared on divorce court, Avis and I have not been in communication. I reached out to her through email trying to make arrangements to see my children. She still refused to allow me to see him. Therefore, I continue not to send her any support.